Now, a woman who supposedly is a female preacher has just come out and told her congregation something that will really, really shock you. Now, she said that having a natural hair or wearing your natural hair is not only outdated and unattractive, but will make you very unacceptable and not attractive to men who are looking for suitable women for marriage in the dating and marriage scene. Now, she insisted that women spend their money on artificial hairs and wigs and makeup, and also do their best to constantly appear on makeups. Now, she also told her female congregation that once they are married, they can take off and look very unkept. The reason why I said unkept is because this woman is trying to sell the idea and the concept that being natural is equal to being unkept and is equal to, not being modern or whatever she calls it. Now, she said that once they're married, they can take off everything. According to her, you have already been married, and therefore, the makeup and all that is what you use to get the man, and therefore, when you're married, there's no need for it. You can take it off. Now, I am definitely not against hygiene and self-care, but this preacher has gone way extreme. Now, telling your congregation that it is very wrong to be proud of who you are, your nature, and also your faith, or to be proud of your spirituality or put your spirituality in front of your relationship is not only misleading to the man, but despicable and very, very misleading for a preacher. So I would call it heretic, because she's going against what the Bible says about the woman's virtue and faith. Listen to what she has to say.
Show yourself friendly, and then you will have friends. All of you will be carrying natural hair about. Who natural hair help? Okay. Better wear your wig. I mean, like this. And be flipping it. Go and spend that money on hair. Draw your brows. Buy lip gloss. Look good. Natural hair is not selling market. When you marry, you off your wig because you have entered. There's nothing they can do about it. But before you enter, don't be caught on fresh. Never. Package yourself well. I'm just spiritual. The guy will run. Where are you? Prayer meeting. Where are you going after work? Prayer meeting. Okay, what about this Friday? Prayer meeting. Oh, me, I'm a Catherine Coleman kind of woman.
So, now you've heard it and you've seen it. So, now the question that I usually do ask, people like this, or I feel the congregation or the women in the congregation should really ask her is, do men really want this? I mean, I don't understand. Do men want this? Do men, want the whole facade, because makeup is a facade? Do men really recognize the wigs and the artificial hair? I mean, these are questions that, as a woman, you should ask the male counterparts if they really, really deem this necessary. Now, the reality is that a lot of men, or men in general, don't even know the kind of wigs or artificial hairs you put on your head. You could, if you think I'm lying, you could go out there to the street and ask 10 men, 20 men, to recognize or to tell you what they think about your wig or your hair. And it's so off that she says stuff like that, because a lot of men know that makeup, it's not your face. They know very well that makeup is a facade, because makeup is a facade, it's not real. That's why it's called makeup. It's there to highlight your face. The painting, it's more like a mask. I'll call it a mask, because when you look at the application method of makeup, you can see there's a foundation, you can see there's an eyeshadow, and by the time you're done with the makeup, you look completely different from who you are. Now, a lot of men have issues with this in reality, because it looks very, very appealing. They know that it's not you. And this makes them wonder if, when you're in bed with them, or when they take you to bed, it makes them wonder if when you wake up in the morning, you'll be the same person. So it's kind of like a bit kind of confusing, There's, you're bringing in somebody different, on your bed. And then in the morning, they look completely different, because that's what makeup, does. So A lot of men know this, and that's the reason why when a man is genuine about his feelings and his choice, choosing you as a wife, he doesn't look at these things. He doesn't look at your wigs. He doesn't look at your makeup. She should be teaching women about what makes them marketable to men. And makeup and wigs, I'm sorry to say this, ladies, in as much as it makes you feel like it's boosting your, confidence, and in as much as it makes you feel pretty and sexy, that is just for you. That's not a reality. Now the thing is, and the truth is, men don't look at this. When they want to settle for a woman, when they want a woman they want to marry, this is not one of the things they consider. They do not consider this. Now I know countless men who, when they're trying to go for a woman that they find suitable, makeup and wigs is not one of them. They try to look at the woman's homemaking skills, the woman's character and behavior, and how she treats people or how she's going to treat him, and her values. That's what men go for. Men go for the values of a woman. They don't go for what they see, because they understand that what they see is not real most times. Because when you look at about 80% of modern women, and what you're seeing about her is not real. Her hair is not real. Her face is not real. Most times, even her breasts, even her buttocks, her hips. A lot of things are not real. So men know that, and this is the reason why people like this, or preachers like this, that teach their congregation this, are misleading their congregation, misleading them, because you find out that at the end of the day, you're listening to a woman like this, but the man you are actually wishing to get married to is looking for something else. So I do tell women a lot of times, you should listen more to male figures. You should sit down, spend time with males. That way you can understand what the male gender wants in a woman and what makes a woman more marriageable. That's the reason why women who are closer to their fathers make better spouses and better wives than women closer to their mother. Now I'm coming from the angle where a lot of you might say, yeah, the mother teaches the girl homemaking, and all that. But there is one truth about it. Only a man knows what a man wants, and only a woman knows what a woman wants. Now, your mother cannot teach you. She can teach you what is required to keep your home, but she cannot teach you what is required to attract a husband. Now, that's the job of your father, because he's a man. That's his role. It's his job to sit you down and then tell you, as a man, what makes him attracted to women, or what makes men in general, tend to pick a woman and find her suitable for marriage. That's the job of a man. And that's the reason why when women are past due their time or age for marriage and whatsoever, the first thing I advise them is to get a father figure. Get a father figure so you can learn. Because a lot of times when women are past their age of marriage, this is the reason. The woman lacks values, she lacks principles, she doesn't even know basic homemaking. And a lot of you think that basic homemaking is just about sweeping the house, cleaning the house. Homemaking goes a lot. It goes a long way than cleaning the house and all that. Homemaking has to do with care. How do you care for your children? How do you care for the home? What are your economical insight? That's where homemaking comes. And how do you manage? How do you economize things? What's your input? What do you bring to the table? That's homemaking. And a lot of women don't know this. So when they get up to 35, the church has to do more in telling these women the reason why they are not married. And tell them the reality why they're not married. Don't go telling them that it's because they don't look good. Because if marriage is all about looks, a lot of women out there wouldn't be married. They won't still be in marriage. You can imagine a man going out there to cheat with a woman who looks more beautiful than his wife, but comes home and fulfills his obligation and responsibility to his wife. And you begin to ask, men are not after looks. They know that looks are a facade. They know that looks want to makes them feel like they want a woman. But in reality, this looks as a woman is not enough to keep someone close to you. And a lot of your women past the age of marriage, you don't realize that your character has a lot to play. Most of you women past the age of marriage don't have good behaviors and good characters, good manners. And you think that it's spiritual, you think that you're being cursed. No, it's character and behavior. That's the reason why a lot of these men have come to you and they've just had sex with you and they're done with you and they move on like nothing ever happened. And they go marry someone else. And most times you realize that they're marrying people who are not even as beautiful as you are, who are not even as presentable as you are. And this the reason why I have problem with this female preacher. You should tell women what makes them marriageable. Don't tell them what draws men to them. Don't tell them that because when a man is drawn to a woman, it's because of sex. Teach a woman, teach her how to attract a husband. Teach her how to become a first choice. When you teach women about makeup and artificial wigs and hairs and, toning their body and taking care of their physical looks, you are teaching them to draw men, not to be the first choice. Any woman can draw a man. That's the reason why you have BBL. That's the reason why you have wigs. This is the reason why you have makeup. This is the reason why you have sexy outfits and all that. This is the reason why a lot of things are going on. But it is not enough to be the man's first choice. And it's because a woman becomes a man's first choice, that's what makes her marriageable. Not because she looks good. Secondly, what this woman is trying to do is deception. She's trying to sell deception. We all know that the wig you're putting on your hair is not your natural hair. We all know that the makeup you're putting on is not who you are and what you really look like. And so pretending and putting this on 24/7 like she advised is deception. You're simply deceiving this man to believe you're not. It's deception. It's clear deception. And the thing is, women think that they can get away with this deception, but the reality is they cannot get away with this deception because the men you feel you're trying to entice or deceive, as I put it, already know the games you play. They know what they want. They're not kids. They know what is fit for them. So it's clear deception. And now she also went ahead to say when you're married, you can take everything off, take off the wig, you can take off the makeup, and just because you know you've gotten what you want, that is deception. If I'm a man, I am marrying you because of what I see. I am marrying you because of what I've experienced with you. I'm marrying you because you're my first choice. Because I see that there are things I like. And what makes a man like a woman is because of what the first impression, the second impression, the fifth impression. And now, after I've married you, thinking that this is who you really are, and but then you come into my house and you take off your wigs, you take off your, makeup, and you start looking so unkempt, as she claims. You start going unnatural. Meanwhile, as a man, I don't even know you to be that kind of person. So what are you doing? You're being deceptive. You're being, And then most of these women who cover their problems with wigs and makeup, most of them have deep-seated, rooted, hidden problems. And all they are being taught by this woman is to put on makeup and wigs and suppress these issues that should be taken out, exposed, and treated. This is the reason why modern women have low marriage rates. This is the reason why we got divorced. Because the man is marrying the woman thinking that this is who she is, but then she comes into the marriage and she changes. And she tells the man blatantly and visibly that what you saw me, what I was yesterday was all a lie. And this is the reason why men cheat. Now you blame them for cheating. Something makes a man cheat. And like I said it in my past video, I said cheating comes from the fact of inadequacy. Whether your personal inadequacy or the inadequacy of your partner. Don't be the kind of woman that will make yourself so inadequate. And it's so terrible. Now, people don't know, and I have to tell people, some people might know this, and some people that know this, believe this, and they know that it's a fact. Makeup ruins the skin and the face. Makeup does ruin it, and if you argue with me, take your Mary Kay, your cosmetics, take your Mary Kay, take your powder, take your foundation, go look at the ingredients. Go and look at the ingredients that it consists of. Then you really see that it is all about chemicals. And no matter how organic they claim it is, don't forget that even during the industrial production, a lot of things, chemical was added to it to make it, to preserve it, to make it. And most of these things are very, very harmful to the skin. Because we know as women, our skin, texture is never hard. We weren't built to be hard. So this is the reason why it's like a risk. Makeup ruins the face. And a lot of you doing makeup can realize this, that once you start using makeup or certain makeup products, you observe that your skin is breaking, you have skin breakage, you have skin reactions, you got rash, and there is this sort of change that is so visible, that cannot be ignored happening to your face and all that. So this is the reason why I do tell people to stay away from constant makeup. I personally, I am against makeup, but that doesn't mean I should enforce my views on you if you choose to do makeup. But listening to someone telling you to put on makeup 24/7, it's dangerous. And you know it's going to destroy your face. And most of these girls putting up this makeup constantly, you realize that the days they come out without this makeup on, you realize they look weird. They look like, monsters. I'll put it like monsters, because you see the whole face is patched and dried up, and because you're so used to seeing a pretty lady who the makeup has enhanced or the makeup has changed, and then tomorrow you're seeing her as who she is, it just doesn't cut it, because you're not drawn to the idea. You're not stuck in your head with the idea that this is not her, and you start to ask who is better, the girl on the makeup or the girl not the makeup. It's like a change in personality, and that is not healthy. It's not healthy. Another thing is self-esteem. Makeup hurts the self-esteem of a woman. So does wigs, and that's the reason why these women try to find their self-esteem or solace in these artificial things, not knowing that self-esteem does not have to come from your hair or your artificial hair. It has to come from inside of you. A lot of women don't know that self-esteem, a lot of people in general don't know that self-esteem has to come from inside of you. It's not outside, it's not physical. It's something that is developed, it's something about the mind. So these women have to learn self-esteem, but instead of teaching them self-esteem as a preacher, you're teaching them how to cover up their problems. The truth is, if you lack self-esteem, you lack self-esteem. And no amount of clothes, no amount of makeup, and no amount of hair, or whatever, is going to change the fact that you lack self-esteem. So you need to build your self-esteem. You need to be confident of who you are. If someone comes along and tells you that you looking natural, you looking the way and accepting the way God created you is not enough, and that you should do some, they feel you should do something about your look, that is not only narcissistic, but it's a dangerous advice. It's a dangerous way to end you. You must be confident with how you look naturally. If someone cannot and will teach you not to appreciate the way you were brought up, the way you were born, then that person is not worth listening to, it's not worth being with. We can all go back to the history. You can see us when we're all children. We are so, drawn to our beauty as children. And we believed we were beautiful, and our parents made us believe we were beautiful. People told us, oh, you're beautiful, you're this and you're that. And as children and as girls going into puberty, we didn't have any makeup on. So why now do you feel the need to put on makeup on artificial hair to feel validated by someone or the society? The society made it this way. This is not how you wear. This is not how we wear. What changed? Everyone in the society wants to push this sort of social construct and mentality that makeup is the best. But it's not the best, because it's toxic. It's downright toxic. Now, even though, I'm talking specifically of those ones, but even though someone is not complete, someone is born with one hand, one leg, or some sort of disability, you should learn to appreciate yourself like that. It goes a long way. Appreciating yourself for who you are and what you are goes a long way in helping you navigate the issues in life. And when you begin to appreciate yourself as a disabled person, someone with one hand, one leg, one eye, and all that, the more you appreciate yourself, the less precious the society gives to you, the less pressure you give to yourself, the more good you feel, the more confident you feel. It helps you to be driven. It helps you achieve the impossible. Because this is who you are. You cannot change it, and you should appreciate it. It makes life easier. So, apart from all these things I've mentioned, you're definitely being fake. And these men know that you're fake. Now, on the aspect of putting your, on the aspect of she, as a preacher, telling her members not to put their spirituality first is heretic. It's misleading, and it's dangerous. And it's despicable too. It's irritating that a female preacher, a female pastor, whose duty is to oversee the spirituality of her female flock or her flock, is coming out to tell women not to sell and put spirituality first. It makes the world question. It makes me question the validity of that pastor. I'm questioning her validity now, because I feel certain people should not be given the pulpits to spread their disease. This is a disease, this is a menace. Why are you my pastor if you can't teach me to develop my spirituality? And a lot of people make this mistake. One of the mistakes and troubles that people find out after marriage is that they are not compatible spiritually. And it causes a lot of problem. Basically, the basic problem in marriage when it comes to sexual incompatibility is spiritual incompatibility. You see the man going this way, you see the wife going this way. Life becomes easier, marriage becomes easier, much easier and seamless when you and your spouse have the same spirituality. That is the whole truth. So when you're trying to hide your spirituality to be able to get someone to love you, it's a danger. Why shouldn't you be proud of your spirituality? If you hide it before the marriage, that means you have to hide it all through your life, which I doubt. Because spirituality is not something that you can hide. It's always going to come out. Even when you don't know, it's unconscious. It's something that's rooted in the subconscious, in the mind. You can hide it. So what you want to do, what's she trying to teach her female congregation? She's trying to teach her female congregation to simply pretend not to be spiritual, and then when they get into marriage, be spiritual. Assume you're not spiritual. Let's assume you're playing the role. You're spiritual, but you're playing the role of not being spiritual. And then a man who wants a woman who is not spiritual marries you. And then later, because it's spirituality, you cannot suppress it. You cannot hide it. And because you feel that you're married now, therefore, so all the whole thing must go out. And then you start to show this man spirituality. What do you expect the man is going to do? He's going to start seeing you as inadequate. And you're going to put yourself in danger because right now the world needs spirituality. The world needs to know that the Holy Spirit is the most important personality you need in your life to grow. So when you're putting him last, I just wonder. Now that man you're trying to compromise your spirituality for, you're trying to hide, will he compromise his own belief system and spirituality for you? The answer is no. Men are not wired that way. Men are not wired to compromise their personalities. It is only women who have the tendency of compromising themselves. You do not compromise stuff like this. It's very important to be highly spiritual. It's very important to be a good Christian. It's very important to be a spirit-filled Christian. Very important. Look at the way the world is going. The world is going south, and soon everything is going to come downhill. The only thing you have left is your sanity and your spirituality. And spirituality comes down to sanity. You must be spiritually sound to be sane. Or else, the waves of the world is just going to keep pushing back and forth. So I not only think that this woman shouldn't be given the pulpit any longer, but I am of the opinion and of a strong opinion that she should not indoctrinate these young women with trash like this, because it's trashy. It's a disease. She has a disease, an internal mental disease that she's trying to put on her congregation. And I'm so mad. It saddens me. I'm not only mad, but I'm angry and I'm sad. Because I don't know if, what the members are just doing, sitting in a church like this and listening to bullshit like this. Should read your Bible. What does the book of Proverbs say about a virtuous woman? How does God describe a virtuous woman? How did Jesus, our Lord Jesus Christ, how did he describe a virtuous woman? How did he describe a perfect woman? How did he describe a marriageable woman? What were the criteria? Spirituality was one of them, the fear of God. You cannot marry a man or a woman without the fear of God, because a lot of things are going to go south for you. So when you're not putting God first, I wonder. It's just simple. I wonder where you're going to go with that. I am Aerissa Stormrage, and this is the Breaking Enigma Show.